out of the many who have gone out into effective service after receiving their flame of fire in our meetings, Teresia Vairimu stands out to me. She is a simple example of what God can do with one willing person, even if you come from the most unlikely circumstances and all the odds are stacked against you. I was invited to speak at one of her meetings in Uhuru Park, Nairobi, Kenya, and we saw mighty manifestations from the preaching of the gospel. This lady was healed in a meeting I held 2 years ago. Her kidneys had stopped functioning and her life depended on dialysis. She received her healing and brought the medical documents to prove that Jesus Christ had healed her completely. Despite great difficulties in the preparations and in the beginning stages of the crusade, Enugu turned out to be a place of mighty blessing and salvation. The crusade was almost cancelled 2 days before, as I was turned back upon my arrival in Lagos, even though I had a valid visa. I returned the following day, again to Lagos, and was then able to enter and was told that a great misunderstanding caused the whole ordeal. However, the crusade was off to a slow start, and attendance consequently suffered because of the uncertainties that had surrounded the event. We still saw 500,000 attend the services throughout the week, and almost 300,000 returned decision cards after receiving Jesus Christ as their personal Savior. For several years we had planned on doing a massive outreach in the most populous city in Nigeria, Lagos. The time was finally right, and we started preparations for what we called the Millennium Crusade, and it turned out to be a title worthy of the event. Crowds gathered in sizes of up to 1.6 million in a single setting, and this in a town of just over 5 million inhabitants. We were all aware of the fact that we may have witnessed the largest crowds ever attending a gospel meeting in history, but infinitely more important was that the harvest of souls from this week was on an unprecedented scale. We received a total of over 3.4 million decision cards throughout the week. To God be the glory. In addition to this, over 80,000 delegates registered for our fire conference for pastors and church workers, where Peter Vandenberg, Suzette Hatting, and I myself preached. We also gave out free copies of my book, Faith, The Link with God's Power, to all delegates as an investment into their lives for the sake of a lost and dying world. Jesus told his disciples, "I will make you fishers of men," in Matthew 4, verse 19. Fishermen don't necessarily build their own boats, or make their own nets, or handle the catches. Fishing is a joint industry. All are not in full-time ministry as pastors and evangelists, but they are gifted for their place in God's program to make fishing possible. Paul told the Philippians that without fault in a crooked and depraved generation, they shone like stars in the universe. Christ put some people on a pedestal who never appear on a platform. He said, "Anyone who receives a prophet because he is a prophet will receive a prophet's reward." The royal law of David was, the share of the man who stayed with the supplies is to be the same as that of him who went down to the battle. Those who work behind the scenes receive the same reward as those in the limelight. Unknown people are the lifeline of missionaries and evangelists around the world. We could not operate without them. I want to thank you, my dear missions partner, for being obedient to your call. If we ever needed your prayers and financial help, it is now. Every farmer knows that harvest time is always short and limited. We have opened doors of opportunity for further tremendous harvests, and we will never hesitate when the doors are open. After 25 years, we are now seeing with our own eyes the fulfillment of a blood-washed Africa coming to pass. Thank you for your continual support of this vision, and your reward in heaven will be truly great.